Welcome in, Renegades. And today we are here live with Seb, and we're talking about why developers are flocking to the Internet Computer ICP. Now, I would like to welcome Seb to the stage here. Let me get him on here.
Hey, cool intro. I like the intro.
Yeah, it was made by my graphic designer, Ashutosh. He does amazing work. I love the guy. He's like a brother to me. He's from India. He created our 3D NFT collection, and now he's starting to develop too. So
Oh, okay, cool. It's
yeah,
really hard to find a great designer and especially graphic one that also have the coding side of things. If you can find this guy, he knows what he's doing. Keep him preciously because it's not easy.
yeah, and he's actually able to design in-game skins. He was working with iDark Studios to do some cool stuff like that, and so it was a pleasure to have him, work with us, and it's a pleasure to have you here today. I really love all the people that are very technically competent on the internet computer because with Santiment, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Santiment, but they rank top blockchain projects with most developer activity. And the Internet Computer in February was number one. I'm sure in other months it was as well. I've seen it at number 8. I've seen it at number 3. So it's consistently in the top 10 of developers. And Seb, as a developer, as a seasoned developer, give a little background. Tell us kind of how long you've been developing in Motoko on the internet computer. I know I remember you here years ago. You were probably here even before me because I remember ICPSWAP was around way before I even got here. So just kind of give us a background, introduce yourself, and just tell us about what you're doing here.
Yeah, thanks for having me first. I'm super excited to be here. It's pretty easy to explain my story. I found out about the internet computer end of 2020, so it was like 6-7 months before the actual launch of ICP. And at the time, I was very interested by Web3. I heard about Web3, and I couldn't think about anything else that was cooler to work in, as
Right.
as an industry. And so I talked with a few people. I met someone that completely changed my life. This person is still in the ecosystem. His name is Evan McFarlane. He was like involved with BTC Flower, if you remember this NFT project. And yeah, basically I found a video from him where he was talking about Web3, and this video was like a revelation. I 25 minutes of video, and everything that he was talking about, I was okay. Like I got it, and it was exactly things that I had in mind, but I couldn't really put words, on it. And every single word that he was saying was like, oh yeah, I agree. Like this is the way I see the technology moving and how I see the things moving in the future. So I booked a call with him, a super cool guy. We had a discussion. He just released a book. Like actually, he was releasing his first book just a few days after that. I bought the book, and in the book it explains his perspective on crypto, on Web3, on technology, and why he thinks that everything leads to ICP. And he's selling more the vision of ICP than a specific technology. Like ICP is a technology, but it's also a vision. And he was selling the vision, and he was saying that the closest project to realize the vision is ICP from Definity. And then I decided to drop out of school and to learn Motoco. Like that's the true story.
So wait. Let me understand this. You weren't in crypto at all, and you
I was in
listened to this.
crypto. But I was just curious. Like I was curious since actually 2017
Okay.
when the first book, like this is my first bull run, I would say. And I lost a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money, not a lot actually, just a few bucks. But yeah, it was my first bull run, but I didn't see any way I could contribute. So I actually discovered Ethereum before Bitcoin. It was a big thing for me. Like Bitcoin, I heard about it like in some news, but I thought it was like a different PayPal. I didn't really get it. I never dive into it, so I didn't really get it. And one day, so in 2017, I heard about Ethereum, and I just loved the name, and the logo, and it was like very futuristic, So I started to read about it. I didn't understood everything in the beginning, and also I didn't see how I could contribute to the project. So crypto stayed in the back of my mind. I just invested in a few projects, but like just as a full gambling, I would say. And I was still following the news, but I was not really understanding how to get involved. Like everything just seems cool, but not enough.
That's how I think it is for a lot of us, man. Like I didn't get it for a couple years, so I understand 100%. Like anybody who came into the crypto space has been there, so I'm with you.
Yeah, you are like in the, you're just looking at things, but not really seeing your path. And that's when I heard Web3. Like Web3 for me, the concept was, okay, now I understand why crypto. Like everything makes sense.
Right.
And also, it was not just about the financial aspect. It was everything was going to be decentralized, and that was much more interesting for me. And so that's when I started kind of a rabbit hole of looking into project. I started to look into Polkadot. I was quite deep into Polkadot in mid 2020, and then I found ICP, and ICP was just another level. Like I couldn't do anything else than just quit school, learn Motoco, and just start building. Like
it's like you're playing Mario and you hit the mushroom and you just
you hit
you're
the mushroom. Yeah,
through, man. That's funny.
exactly. You got it's the mushroom and the star as well. Like
Oh
everything.
yeah. That's when you became a Motoko developer. You got the mushroom, it got you interested in, then the star, you just barreled down the path, man. Nothing stopping you.
Yeah, exactly. And so after that, I was working on the side doing project. I won like one of the first hackathon from the community with Discover back then, and then I got in touch with Isaac and Duke regarding ICPSWAP. They were looking for a developer, and that's exactly the same time that I was leaving my school, and I started to work with them. And after that, the journey started, and things have just been crazier and crazier every year. Yeah.
So after you stopped working with those guys, what are you doing now? What projects are you working on, and kind of how are you contributing to building developers on the internet computer? Because as far as I understand it, you don't only develop in Motoko, but you are also a teacher of the Motoko language. Give us a little background on that, and maybe tell people if they want to learn Motoko, because I'm interested. I want to talk to you about Motoko. I definitely want to learn. So yeah, just kind of tell us what we would need to do that and what you're doing.
So can I share my screen?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I will approve it. You just
So let me.
there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. So this is the Motoko bootcamp. So to give some background, I was among the first few Motoko developers, and there was not a lot of resource back then. It was really hard to learn. Like you basically had to go and ask people at Definity or look at coding examples and kind of learn by doing things and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And so one day, Isaac, which we've been working together on ICPSWAP, he asked me, he was interested to learn more. And so I said, okay, let's try to do something so you can learn. And also he said after a few days, why should we make it not public? Because if he's going to learn, why not invite more people, And so we published an article, and this article was the first Motoko bootcamp, and then there was like 500 registration in a few days. And then we hosted the first bootcamp online. That's where I met a lot of great people that I'm still in touch with as of today. And so in this bootcamp, we invited a few ICP OG developers, and I was also creating content and explaining to people how to build on ICP essentially, and how Motoco works and how they can get started. So it was not really like something that I plan on doing. Like it was more like, like, okay, let's do it. Like it's only the idea. I said, okay, let's do it. But after the first bootcamp, I realized that I really loved it, and so started to do more in that direction. I also previously had done a lot of things for education. Like I was doing this Motoco school concept. I was sharing videos and tips and helping people present their project and everything. And so after ICPSWAP, I joined Code State. And so at Code State is a venture studio. So it basically helps you become a better entrepreneur. And I learned a lot of how businesses work, how you can, scale things, think from a business mindset. And then I run the Motoco bootcamp a few times and also built this website. So if you want to get started, you can log in on the website. Everything is explained here. With Motoco bootcamp, you build an app in 1 hour. I do workshop every week. And you also have videos that you can just do at your own pace. And you learn how to build a DAO in 7 days. Everything is free. The reason it's free is that I believe in community, because I think communities are going to be the strongest thing in Web3. So I'm just doing that to build a community. Like, for me, it doesn't make sense to make people pay. I believe a lot in the future and just betting on people. So that's why it's free. And then if you want to get started, I explain. So you have a few videos on Motoco Bootcamp. You have a video on ICP. You have a video on Motoco, on DAOs, because DAOs are also really important. And then, you have a few explanations here. So the way it works is deploy your app, then you get access to the bootcamp, which in the bootcamp, you build your DAO in 7 days. You can do that online, or you can do that offline. Like I also done a few in-person events where I actually meet people and we connect in real life. Thanks, Kyle. I've seen your comment. And then after that, the idea is to help you, and we're still working on that, but it's to help people, network and continue their project after the bootcamp is over. So make connections, find jobs, and continue building your project, because it will take some time. I'm super bullish on Motoco and ICP, but things take a lot of time. Building communities, building infrastructure takes a long time.
That's important, man. I don't mean to interrupt you, but as a person that has taken on a project lead role, having this kind of guidance after, like what to do, like the next steps and stuff, that's very important. Like to learn how to build a community, how to market, how to keep your project going. I think that's very important. So you're doing a very good service for the community, not only by teaching them this language, but also by giving them the tools that they need to build what they're going to build afterwards. I think, man, that's great.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think it's necessary because it's tough, like it's really tough.
Yeah, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And so
Exactly.
people are coming into the boot camp to learn, how to code, but there's not really a school to teach you how to put that into action afterwards. Like we were talking earlier, it's kind of trial and error at times. So giving those, developers that kind of foothold to become successful is very important, man.
Yeah, and I think that most of traditional schools, they don't understand that how it works exactly. So it's, even if there was school, I think they don't really understand like the importance of communities and building in the open and ICP. Like those topics are so new that it's really hard to find a good place to learn about it.
That's
so
Web3. We're in such an early stage. Like it's kind of cool that we get to pioneer this kind of stuff, and like you're kind of the Motoko pioneer, I see you as. So this is just really refreshing to see. Like we have the data to show that ICP is one of the most developed blockchains, and now we get to see kind of the behind the scenes of why. We have people like you doing boot camps teaching this. I don't know if they're doing this on any other chains. Is there any Solidity boot camps or, like stuff like that? I think ICP is at the forefront of doing everything. And that's why
I think honestly, I don't think there is. There are a few. Actually, I've looked into the competition, of course, and so there are some like Solidity bootcamps and Web3 bootcamps, but they are all paid experience. And the reason they are paid experience is that I am bullish on Motoco bootcamp being free. And I spent like hours, and I've spent like the past 2 years like creating resource and everything, because I am so convinced that Motoko and like building communities and DAOs is the future. So I'm kind of like I don't need to make money with that because I believe that is the future, and I don't think you will see anywhere else like people
Wait,
doing things like
it's
this.
free?
Yeah, it's completely free. That's what I said. It's completely
I
free.
know, but I'm not understanding, because how are you doing this for free? It doesn't.
Okay, so there are a few reasons. Like the first one is the first thing, and why I want I want it to be free. It's because, well, I'm French, so we have free education, and I've been raised like that.
I love it.
So that's I think it's also like cultural thing, but because I also know that when things are free, for example, in the US or in other cultures, it can be seen as like it's cheap or in a bad way. But I can tell you, like, this is the best bootcamp that you will find. It's not about that. It's about betting on the community. Like for me, it's a long-term bet that all the connections that I'm making, all the people that are coming to the bootcamp, it's already super valuable for me to get to know those people early like this, because I'm convinced that we are doing a long-term game, and like Motoco and ICP will be the future. And you won't find that in any other place, because people know that, like, I mean, they are doing like shitcoins or casino things, but
Right.
like it wouldn't make sense. Maybe on Ethereum, you've seen a few things like that in the beginning. Like I think in Ethereum, you have a few people that did like educational initiatives like that.
Yeah, but yeah, and Bitcoin too. I saw a lot of that, but not a lot of other blockchains are in the forefront. They just kind of follow. I've noticed the internet computer is kind of pioneered, and then we see a lot of other blockchains follow. I mean, despite Ethereum, being kind of
Exactly.
the leader on that, but like I've seen AVAX come out and try to say, oh, hey, well, we do this now. We have, data that we can, or whatever. And the internet computer is like, yeah, we did that like 2 years ago. Welcome to the club, and so that's the kind of thing. Internet computer is so far ahead technologically than even Ethereum, so this kind of stuff is going to be what solidifies internet computer for the 20-year roadmap that it has. And so how long do you think you're going to be doing this kind of boot camp? You said you're doing it kind of to make those connections, build the community, give people that free education. That it should be a right to have free education, but that's not the way our world works most of the time. So where do you see this kind of leading? And do you think this is sustainable, for the future, to keep teaching until there's more boot camps and more people that are teaching? And you're kind of pioneering the way on that.
So yeah, I will answer this question. Before, I just want to say, for people that want to get started, they can either register for one of the weekly workshops. So the link is broken here. I need to fix that. It will be fixed if you check that later. You can also get started with the self-paced. So I've actually created a course, like on completely free again. It's open source, so anyone can do it. It's called the DAO Adventure, and you have 7 chapters where you learn how to build a DAO with Motoco. The reason that I'm building a DAO is that I believe a lot in I believe that DAOs are what's essentially set ICP apart and what really makes this blockchain so powerful. So that's the reason I teach about DAOs. And you can get started with that at any point in time. You have 7 chapters to complete. And the way that people can do it is by logging on the platform, so with their internet identity. I'm planning on adding more like different ways to log in, but right now it's just internet identity.
Okay.
And then you get this dashboard. So here, you basically, every time you deploy a canister, you have something called canister ID. It's an ID that represents your application, and you basically put it here, and then you click on. I have already finished the bootcamp, so everything is green, but you should see something that is red. You click on confirm, and it will automatically verify your code and gives you a green light, like, this is good or this is bad. And when you finish the whole bootcamp, you receive your certificate that you are a Motoco graduate. And you can also join our open chat group after that.
So somebody like me, I want to join a Motoco bootcamp. It's on my bucket list. It's on my to-do list. I don't know a lot about coding. To be honest with you, I would be completely starting from scratch. Is this the right platform for me, or do I need to learn coding and then be able to use this bootcamp to raise my skill level?
So I'm gonna be honest, it's hard if you have never coded before, but I know some people that did it.
I have too. So that's why I asked you. It wasn't like a setup or anything. It was just I heard that maybe I just need to learn a base coding model, and then I should be able to apply it to that.
Yeah. So you can try, and it's okay if you just do the first step, and maybe you come back to it later. You can try, and there are actually a lot of videos and resources to help you along the way. I also would like to see more, but that's for like the future roadmap. But I'm planning to have other ways to join the Motoco bootcamp. So one of the problem with the current way things are done is like our community is a community of developers, but I want to turn it into a community of entrepreneurs. So that's my job right now. Like I want people to understand like it's not just about the code, it's how you actually use the code to change the life of people. And the problem is if you only focus on developers, they miss sometimes some pieces of the puzzle. Like I would like to have more people focus on marketing, more people focusing on content creation, people focusing on the cultural aspect. It's super important. Like, doing memes and just doing more like graphic design, for example, is super important. And those are things that I would like to see added to the bootcamp. But I mean, this is for later. Like I have already so many things on the plate.
Right.
But essentially, I'm trying to create this community like of Web3 builders. And I mean,
And it looks like a pretty great course that you have here. And it looks like it said one of them was 1 day. So how long are these courses? So and how long each day are they going to be? So if say I want to build, I already know how to code, I want to learn Motoko. What is the time that it would take me to do that?
So you have the first step. So this qualification step, essentially, it's to make sure that you are able to join Motoco Bootcamp, and you have to deploy your first application. So this is like your first challenge.
And that's what you're talking about. Okay, cool.
Exactly. And this is usually 1 hour. It can be more or less depending on what you want to, where you come from, like your background. And then it's one course in 7 days. I've seen people doing it in like 2 days or 1 day.
And
because
how many days or how many hours in a day would you spend?
When we do the bootcamp together. So right now, what I've done is either people can do it at their own pace, like they can just do the course whenever they want, or they join a bootcamp we do every month. And I help them, and other people help them also with questions and like just supporting them. And usually it's 5 to 6 hours per day for the full week. But during the bootcamp, we also have a few talks about, like we invite projects from ICP, we invite people to share the experience. So it's a little bit more than just the coding side of things.
Yeah, but that seems pretty quick to me to be able to learn everything in 7 days, 5 to 6 hours. I mean, that's like not less than a 40-hour work week that you're going to be learning, something that could really change your future. That if you went to a school, I mean, it'd probably take you a full term, to do that.
So yeah, for sure. It's not like you learn everything, because I believe a lot that basically teaching shouldn't be like teaching is.
It should be linear, right?
It should also come from inside the people. Like the way the school works are kind of biased right now, because they like teaching is not a relation of like I give you all this information and you have to put it inside. That's the wrong way to teach. Teaching is like inspiration. You have to inspire people, but it has to come from inside. Like no one told me to learn Motoco. Like I was just inspired by the vision, so I decided, and that's the best way to learn. Like when you get inspired by something and you just learn by yourself, it's the best way. So the way, that's why the bootcamp is 7 days. For me, it's more about giving you some tips and giving you the vision, like why this is so important, why you should learn Motoco. But then it's up to you, like, to build your project. And of course, I can help you. Like, you can ask me questions.
Yeah, you
But
give them the framework. It's
yeah,
like
like
a foundation. You help them build the foundation, and it's up to them to build the house.
exactly. I give them the, how do you say that? Like the tools,
Yep.
and then they have to build the house. Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. I'm glad you came on channel because some of this stuff, like I've heard about Motoko Bootcamp for a while. I heard the 7-day thing, but I didn't realize, kind of what went into this. And so this is a completely online course, right? So you can do it from anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
Cool.
And we have people from everywhere in the world, actually. So that's our Twitter account. If people want to follow us, we lost the Twitter page, but it's coming back.
Okay, but I did tell them to follow you on X. His Twitter link is in the description below, so give him a follow. I'm sure he'll be posting stuff from the Motoko bootcamp stuff and everything.
Yeah, so you have the Motoko bootcamp handle. I will share it, and you have also my Twitter. But yeah, you can follow both, actually.
Oh wait, so you do have the Motoko bootcamp now? Hold on, what?
Yeah, this one is the Motoko bootcamp. So it's actually, I changed the name because we are focusing on the hackathon right now.
Okay.
But the handle is Motoko bootcamp here. You can see it. And then, like, yeah, of course, you have my account if you want, but yeah, it's like.
Okay, let me get that real quick. I got you, man. Yeah, go ahead. I'll do this. Go ahead and keep going.
Yeah, I shared that in the. Okay, yeah.
Wait, you shared it?
In the private chat, yeah.
Perfect. Oh no, that's just the @ I gotta get the link.
Ah, okay. Yep. So now it's x.com. I guess it's like that.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Seb.
Yeah.
Hey, Meta Al in the house. We got some of the OGs. We'll do questions at the end, guys. We're not ignoring you. We gotta get all this information out, man. I've been waiting to have Seb on the channel for 2.5 years, and we finally got it. All right.
Yeah. So, do you have more question on the bootcamp?
No, I just wanted to show them on that. Maybe one more question. So how long has Motoko Bootcamp been around? You said you heard about this 6 months before launch. You worked with ICPSWAP. How long have you been doing this bootcamp?
So it's been around for April 2022 was the first one.
Wow, 2 years almost or more.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's longevity, man. That's what I look for in projects, especially one that's like a teaching project, because a lot of, projects will come in, get funding, and then just kind of disappear on a lot of other chains. So it's good to see that the internet computer has some sticking power, and you're basically leading the future of developers. So I definitely am looking for a lot of developers to get in contact with. So you can send them my way if they build a cool project, and then I'll have them on the channel to that you could actually use me in your, advancing from the developing to, you gave them the tools, now build the house, right? Well, I can help them lay the framework for the house, the sheetrock, by giving them a platform to talk about their projects once they build it. I think that's kind of a cool narrative that we're all a stepping stone to help each other get where we need to be.
So yeah, for example, I was super lucky to work with Isaac for 2 years. So probably you know about Isaac, right?
I love Isaac, man. I met him in Austin. He's such a good guy. Like,
he's a really,
he was
really
even
good
gonna
guy.
let me, because I didn't know where I was gonna stay when I was there, because I kind of just went there on a DJ whim at the last minute. And so he's like, bro, you can stay in my room. Don't worry, man. If you don't have nowhere to go, bro, I got you. You can sleep on the floor. I'm like, yeah, bro, he's so cool. But yeah, Isaac's awesome, man.
So yeah, what I wanted to say about that is I've been working with him for 2 years, and our relation changed because, of course, I evolve and he evolved also. But in the beginning, he was a product manager, I would say, like, and I was the developer. And I think that's what is missing to a lot of developers in my bootcamps. Like, they are super good developers, but they don't necessarily know how to build a product, like how to turn the code into something that people want to use. And it's not easy when you are like alone in your room, you are a new coder, like, and you need someone that has been working in like companies and industries to actually give you this knowledge of like, okay, this is how you build a product. And I've been super lucky that Isaac has been kind of always, we had this relation where he had these crazy ideas and this crazy like product that he wanted to see, and I was just like, okay, let's build it, and I know exactly how to build it. Now I understand how to build a product, like after seeing him so many times doing those things. But before that, it was like, for me, I would have been I was just someone that knew how to code, so there is a big difference. And what you just said is exactly that. Like, you have an idea or product that you want to build, and it's going to be beneficial for the developer to help you and for you to get the developer to build it. So
yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship, and that's why it's called an ecosystem, because when you have the right balance of organisms within an ecosystem, it thrives.
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. You said
Cool.
something, I still didn't answer that question.
Yeah.
You said something about how long is the bootcamp going to be there?
Yeah, and how are you going to make sure that it continues?
So I don't just want it to continue. I actually want it to spread all around. And for that, I have an idea. It's not gonna be me that is going to do the bootcamp forever, just because I want to focus on things that I think I can be more useful to the ecosystem. And also, it's time to kind of give that opportunity to other people, because actually when you teach Motoco and you teach like ICP, it gives you even better insight, because teaching is actually super beneficial for the person that is teaching, something that people don't really know, but actually like it makes you 10 times better, because you have to explain things so you actually understand them even more. So next year and end of 2024, I will be selecting a few people that I believe wants to take that responsibility and also are sharing my vision for DAOs and how things should evolve. And I will be traveling, doing a bootcamp with them, and then they will be running more bootcamps in the future. So kind of like giving them the Motoco Bootcamp mentor title. I will give them like a personalized NFT for that. I'm working on it. And then they will be forever Motoco Bootcamp mentors. And if they want to run bootcamps in the future, like online, offline, they will be able to do it. And I'll try to give them all the knowledge that I've learned and all the mistakes that I've made and all the things that I think they can do better for the future. And that's the way I can see it grow. I don't want to hire people. I want to see that growing through, you can call it a DAO, essentially. Yeah.
So you're teaching a group of teachers.
Teaching.
I love it. Man. I
Yeah,
love
building.
the Motoco Bootcamp, man. I've been following it for a while, and I just think this is so important, because the internet computer is the most technically competent blockchain out there, and to see what is happening to not only build what we're having now, but the future of this, that people that are leading the charge here are thinking about that. And that tells me, that not only does the internet computer have a crazy 20-year roadmap that they've fulfilled everything they've said so far, but the people in the ecosystem have big plans to make this their home and to teach the next generation, from ICP hubs teaching at college, universities, to Motoko boot camps online. This is the infrastructure that has been built now that people were waiting for, and this is going to solidify ICP in the top 3 crypto, in my opinion, in the next coming years.
Yeah. No, I think the ecosystem is super important.
Very.
It takes time to build an ecosystem, but it's like you cannot you can't do anything in crypto if you don't have the ecosystem. And it's not about the money. Actually, the more money you have, I think the harder it is to build an ecosystem, because you can attract the wrong people for the wrong reasons. Of course, you need money to like run the operation, but money comes after. Like the first thing is really, do you have people that believe in the vision? If yes, and you are able to communicate that and make a space for everyone, because everyone is going to want to contribute, and it's just talking to people basically and helping them. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's not as hard as it seems. Like it's kind of a scary thing when you come into crypto, but like it's a pretty good place as long as you understand it is, you know, a lot to do with social media, so you're going to have a lot of trolls and stuff, but if you just get to know like some people in the space, that's very beneficial, and that's changed my life, man. Like I never thought I'd meet like actual great good people online. You know, I was kind of sketched out about meeting people online, but for the most part, like it's a community of great people, and I'm honored to be a part of this, you know.
same thing. The students that I've met in the boot camps, all of them like just brilliant and super ambitious people, and also very very cool people, you know, like most
Right?
of them are my friends actually now. So it's like,
That's cool, man. I love to hear that, you know, because that isn't something you hear all the time in crypto. Oh, I made a bunch of friends. People are like, oh, I made money. You know, I got 100x. But it's more than that. Like if you're only in crypto about, you know, the money, then just go invest on Coinbase. But if you want to be part of something, part of an ecosystem of growth, then get to know some people. You know, put your neck out there a little bit. You know, make
yeah,
your face known, and you'll be surprised at what you can achieve. You know, someone like me that has no developing experience, like I have management experience, but no project experience, like running a project. I know exactly what you mean when you're talking about people need, you know, that inspiration within them, because I wouldn't have built none of this, bro. Nothing that I built, I wouldn't have built an NFT, a game, a token, none of that, unless I had been inspired by Dominic Williams, by people like you, Victor, you know, people also building all these projects that I've had on my channel here. They just inspire me to be, because when I'm around greatness, it makes me want to up my level so that I can contribute in an effective way. Not that, oh, I want to be great, but that I want to rise to the level that everybody else is doing so that
yeah.
I can contribute in a real way on the same level as everybody else. And I think that's super important for us to understand that we got to up our game, you know, and become that premier blockchain. And the way to do that is through development, through ecosystem, and through networking and marketing, like we're doing now. You know, like we're networking because me and you get to connect a little bit, and we're
Yeah.
marketing what we're doing at the same time. So it's a multi-layer faceted approach that we take.
Actually, what you said is super important. I I know that ICP is actually the way ICP works and the way it's going to spread in the world is with ICP technology you can create networks. So I call them DAOs, because DAO is the, I would say, technical as like concept with the governance and everything, but it's not too much. Like when I say DAO, people think about the governance and the voting. It's not about that. It's about creating networks. And currently, our system is completely fucked up. Sorry for the words, but it's completely fucked up because
You're good.
the current system is not based on networks. It's different, I would say. It's based on cooperation mostly, but also mainly money. And money has become the goal and not like the accelerator. Money has always been like, it's supposed to represent energy, so it's supposed to like allocate resource between people in the best way possible, but it's never the end goal. Like money is not the end goal. Money is just the tool, like or the fuel. It's not like what you want to do with your life. I want to make money. People
Yeah,
are saying that.
that's a hard life, man.
Yeah, I know, and I know why people are saying that, because actually I talk to students like there is like the biggest the first university of Portugal here. It's like the best in the country, so you have the brightest minds, I would say. And I love to ask students, like, what is your dream? And the thing they say is, I want to make money. Like, not all of them, but some of them. And I know why they say that. They say that because they are like, life is hard and they don't have enough money right now, so they are only focusing on that.
Yeah, but that's going to make their life harder, man.
But
That's the
yeah,
thing.
it's not the good thing to focus on, and that's like the trap, I would say, of a society, is to be focused on money.
Yeah, because what, you end up working a job that you hate just to get extra money. You don't get to spend time with your family because you're working 12 hours a day on this job that you had to have because you needed money, and now your life is worse because of that. And that's not always the case, but like, money, I agree, is not the end goal. It's part of the plan, but not the end goal.
It's an important part of the game. I'm not saying I don't like to make money.
Yeah.
Like, of course, if you have more money, you can do more things, you can
Right.
hire people, you can do many things, but it's not the end game. And I think it's really sad because, like, new generations, they are focused on that. So my belief is ICP will change that, because you can create networks on ICP with canisters. Like, each canister, you can think of it as a cell, or like your kind of participation in that network.
Right.
And we can all do work together. Remember that canisters are computers, so they actually do work. Like, they actually do stuff. They process information, and they can actually create value. And you can create networks with shared values and shared purpose. So that's what you call communities also. And essentially, you can put people together that have the same interests, the same purpose. And instead of going like, 2 times faster, if you build the right community, you can go 100 times faster, because communities are the strongest thing in the world. Like, people don't realize we are all connected through 6 people. So that means, like, anyone in the world is reachable. Like, you can reach Elon Musk with 6 people. That's crazy. Like, and a community can do things like this. Like, if you tell your brother, and I tell my sister, and you tell and your sister, like, those things can grow super fast, the networks. And that's the network effect of Bitcoin has been like this as well. Ethereum, ICP, it will be the same, but ICP has the added advantage that the value and the things that we can do is not just about the money, is actually about the job. Like, we can actually work together in a way that was not possible before. And so for me, ICP changed the way we work. It's the future of the work. And yeah, it will be much better than the current, like, work that we have. So that's my whole thing about ICP and why I'm excited about it.
Nice. So what was the other project that you were just going to be talking about?
Yeah.
Let's go to that, because we're about 45 minutes into it, so we have about 10 minutes left.
So I want to talk about the Open Internet Summer. It's a hackathon that takes place this summer. So you can see June 22, July 21st. It will be a 1-month hackathon. And so I believe that ICP will also give birth to a new type of entrepreneurs, which I call decentralized entrepreneurs. So the way entrepreneurship works right now is too separated. You can raise a lot of money for a startup. You can build a team, but you are going to work in silo. Like, even if you have the best startup in the world, you raise a lot of money, you are still going to be in a closed environment. And if you fail, actually 90% of startups fail. That's very common because it's really, really hard. All the things that you create, all the resource, all the assets will be worth nothing. And I think there is another way to go about entrepreneurship, which is much more based on, again, communities and helping each other along the way. So my idea is to create a decentralized place, like for entrepreneurs, to share resource, to share knowledge, and to connect with one another. This won't just make them like 1 or 2 times better. It will make them 100 times better. And this summer, I'm experimenting with that. So we are actually creating a place where you can join with your project, and we will ask you a few things. We will ask you to update daily on your projects. to record a video every week, and also to participate in some collective session where we basically together brainstorm on one question and everyone can give their opinion. So it's not a traditional hackathon. Like traditionally hackathon, you get a lot of sponsors coming together and they just decide the agenda based on the sponsors. In this hackathon, the agenda is defined by the participants. So essentially, we get a bunch of people to work together. I will be asking questions like, what are your struggles? What do you need to move forward? And all sorts of questions. And then based on the answers, we will provide the sessions to answer the question. Like if someone says, oh, I have no idea how to create a community around my project, or I have no idea how to build the infrastructure for my product, I have no idea how to market, then we just get people together and we talk about this problem and how we can solve it.
And that's
So
important. I just want to go into what you said there because that's something that I've dealt with before. You're talking about Victor earlier. I can't even count how many times I went to Victor and I'm like, man, I got this problem right here, and like you're the only one I could talk to right now. Like help me out here. And so we kind of brainstorm some ideas and come up with like a solution that works. And I think that is huge, bro. Like that is going to strengthen the community and make more competent projects within the ecosystem.
yeah, and it's also the best way to grow, because if you can bring people at different levels, everyone can learn from each other. If you are like early in your developer journey, you will learn a lot about how to actually think about a product, how to design a plan, like a strategy plan for the next few years and so on. But it's not also just about that. It's also about creating trust and creating some focus. So this program is not for everyone. You actually have to sign our manifesto. So you have to sign 10 rules that you have to agree with, because we believe in a future that we want to build together. We see the future, we have a vision for the future, and we want to do it together. So you essentially have to agree to our rules and to agree to, if you want to join this space and collaborate with us, you have to complete a form and then sign our manifesto, and then we have a call with you and we onboard you into the Open Internet Summer. We will have some prizes as well, because we are supported by Definity, and we have also a few players in the space that are supporting the event. We have Hacker Hub, so I'm hosting an event in Lisbon. If you want to join in Lisbon, it's going to be 1 week from the 1st of July to 7th of July. And there will be a bunch of people. We have rented a place, and we will be talking about how to build on ICP. And we also have a few other people that are doing their own local hubs. And those are some of the mentors. We have actually way more, but I need to update the website. Okay, and the last thing about this hackathon is it's also going to be a place for me and for the Motoco bootcamp community to write the white paper for the Motoco bootcamp DAO. So I was saying, like, how is Motoco bootcamp going to grow? It's going to turn into a DAO. It's not just about me teaching, it's about some values and some common collaborative project.
Are you guys going to use the SNS framework?
We are still thinking about it. I'm not sure yet. Depends. It might be possible, but it's not sure. And I want to write the white paper and the vision in public, because, or at least within that specific community, I want them to be able to read it while I'm working on it. The reason for that is I want people to be in sync, like on the same frequency, I would say, like, because if I do it, like, I have a lot of things in my head, like I have a vision that I see, but it's hard to communicate that. And I want people to be actually from the bottom, from the ground up, to be included in the project. So that's the reason I'm doing that within this hackathon. I will be organizing the hackathon, but I will also be participating as building my white paper and the vision for the next few years, actually, few months and few years. And yeah, that's the idea. If people want to get involved, I am actually hosting the first public call to explain in more details how it's going to work. on Monday. On Monday, next Monday, yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay. So what does that entail? Can people join this? So wait, the Open Internet Summer starts next Monday, or hold on.
No. It starts on June 22, but
20
next Monday I'm hosting a call where I go into the Open Internet Summer.
Hosting what?
A call, public call,
Oh, a call. Okay.
like a workshop if you want. I can send the link actually.
Yeah, it's not even close to June 22nd.
Yeah. No, it's just I'm hosting a workshop and I explain like, okay, this is the idea for the Open Internet Summer, and I will also talk about the rules, like why you should participate or why maybe you shouldn't participate, because it's actually not for everyone. Like, I have some opinion about like how people should work together, but maybe not everyone will agree with that, and that's okay. Like, I'm just making things clear. Like, if you join, it's because you believe that building together is stronger than building on your own. Like, that's one of the first things. Like, if you think that you don't want to waste time like helping other people and you just want to focus on your project, that's okay. Like, you can think that, but it's not the place to be, because we will ask people to, for example, one of the things that we want to do is to have at least 1 hour in the week to give feedback to another project that you choose. So you will be interested, of course, but to give some time to someone else, and some other person is gonna do that for you. But yeah, you have to also like believe that it's stronger to be building together. Yeah, which I believe is actually like the case, especially on ICP, but I know that not
Yeah. I
everyone.
mean, because it's super difficult to navigate everything. If you're, like you said, you need people that have been in the business that have done this. And so if you're kind of a ground up kind of person, you built from the ground up and don't have that, background, it's super important to be involved with people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the criteria is for this hackathon. I'm gonna look into it more. I'm gonna see if my developer wants, like get us on there with you and see what we can contribute.
So we don't have any technical criteria. We really just select people based on the values. Like, if you agree with our values, it's fine. Like, you can join and we will help you. It's all about it's all about the vibe. It's not really about, are you really good coder? If you are really good coder, of course, like, yeah, we want you in,
Right,
like,
right.
that's always better. But it's about the vibe. Like, if you want to contribute and you believe in the collective aspect of that, then you're just everyone is welcome, and we will do our best to support everyone.
That's beautiful, man. All right. I think that is where we're gonna call it a day. This was a great interview. I think people are understanding why people are building on the internet computer now, not just that they are building. It's projects like yours that are really going to shape the future of the internet computer. Of course, Defendi, and of course other things as well. But I think this is the infrastructure, right? It's the support beam that holds up the entire building, that's built. So I'm super bullish on everything you're doing. I'm super bullish on ICP because of it. So June is going to be a bearish month in my opinion. So it's going to be kind of great to see the tech advancing while the price is going down, because that was one of my biggest selling points when we're at like $3 to $5, is like, yeah, look at Amazon back in the day when their stock was plummeting, but all of their business numbers, all of the things that mattered, the core infrastructure was getting stronger and better. And as
Yeah.
you see, I don't just say that about ICP. Like, you were able to show in detail, like the developers that are working and the teachers that are teaching these developers to work, and allowing people to have these platforms to grow their projects. This is what's going to bring the longevity to the internet computer. So I want to thank you for that, being an investor and a project lead. We need stuff like this, and even without those connections. Each one of our projects, like, it's super important to network and, like, you know, share the same values as people, but it's also important to have people out there teaching and guiding this next generation, even if from a distance they see what you're doing. Like, I this is our first time talking. I was in a video call with you when Blockchain Boy was like, it was a paid call and I was like a fly on the wall in the call. But you affected me without us ever meeting, bro. Like, you being a developer on the internet computer and I saw what you were doing, it gave me faith in, like, I trusted Affinity, I trusted what they were doing, but you always want to be like, okay, this is happening, but what is the core of everything else in the ecosystem? So you being able to build these things gave me more confidence in the internet computer, and I think that's super important. And then those relationships, getting to know you, it kind of creates this dynamic of, I was right about, you know, like the internet computer, I was right about Seb the whole time, you know, like, you can just kind of tell it's a lot about values, and you can see what somebody's made of, and that's important.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think the ecosystem is super important. Like, I also got inspired by people like in the early days, like Jordan Last, Austin.
Man, that guy's a genius, bro. He needs to come on the channel.
Yeah. Actually, it's one of the first person that I met, and I remember one of the first call with him like 3 years ago. I was not even able to deploy like something. I was on my terminal. I was doing like some stupid things. And
Hey, I remember I was the same way with the NNS, not quite on the level you were. I was just trying to use the NNS to stake ICP, and like, I didn't really know a lot about it. So it's kind of fun.
It was not easy in the early days as well. It was like super confusing. But yeah, I mean, I've been inspired by people, and I'm still inspired by other people as well. Like, I just want to continue the cycle, you know, like, the more, the better. Everyone just gets better, and I think we haven't really touched on how cool those things could be. Like, really, I think if everyone gets to work and everyone understand, it's gonna be like it's gonna be freaking cool, like the future, if we can make it. So I'm excited and just wanna excite
We're gonna
everyone.
make it, man. We're all gonna make it. As long as it's all about, like, continuing the grind. The only way that your project fails is if you give up on it. There's always a way to build your project higher to a different level. Like we were talking about before we started, just because I'm not going to say what project, but certain projects might seem like they've, you know, gone into the background in stealth or whatever, but then they come back out. Like Motoko, I'll put that one for an example. It was one of the first NFTs on the internet computer, or the first airdrop or something like that, and it was like 2 years later, and then they come out with a token, and then now they're a DAO, you know, and that kind of thing.
It's the power of the community, you see, because it's not like a corporation. Like, people can do stuff. Like, for example, I know that some people complain, like, why are those people launching a token, and why are those people launching a DAO? You know, some people complain, but you have to understand it's a community. So you have to, if you want to do something, take the lead and do it, because it's not a corporation. We are not like, oh, do this, and, you know, this is like your task list for the day. It's an ecosystem, it's a community. So it's all about doing things and leading. Of course, you cannot do, like, I wouldn't say you can do anything, because you have to understand also there are other people, and you cannot just like do something that will hurt a lot of people. You have to be careful.
Exactly.
But it's a community, so you can do things, like, you can start things, and that's exactly what's happening with Motoco. And I'm super bullish, because anyone can build on top of that. Like, and it might sound like stupid right now, you know, like, oh, they launched a token and everything, but if you look at that in like 10 years, maybe there will be a lot of application with this token, and even the students from the bootcamp, they can build stuff on top of the DAO, and like, that's the way things are evolving. So yeah, I'm bullish on the community.
100%, man. Let's just get a quick comment here. This guy said, I was in love with ICP. Now I'm madly in love with ICP. The whole teamwork make the dream work. The whole teamwork makes the dream work, I think is what he was trying to say. That's beautiful. All right. Well, there's no more questions except El Chingon says, Seb, what's up, my
What's
bro?
up, my bro? Hey.
All right, guys. That being said, goodbye and good ICP.